Jason Barber. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to be here for a good time. Um, they've got signed me on board because I approached them last year with the assistive technology for visually impaired. There really wasn't any seminars or any sessions that deal with end user people, the ones that actually use the technology. They can tell you all about what's available and what they can help you with. But as far as someone actually intervening and showing you and telling you how and what you use it on a daily basis, I felt like that was necessary. Before I forget, one of the main things, because I know I won't be able to touch on everything in very much detail here, is that I actually started a YouTube channel about a month and a half ago. And what that is, I felt like even at home, I have people that ask me, well, how can you do what you do and you can't see on the farm? Cataloging your livestock and doing things like that. So with this YouTube channel, I went through and I've described the Be My Eyes application, the Seeing AI, the Way Around app, and a lot of other things that I do on the farm utilizing different assistive technologies, not necessarily just my phone. So when I came to this conference, actually I looked just a few moments ago, I've got 61 subscribers. So if I don't see that number increase, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. So be sure to get your phones out and you search it. It's Farming Blind with Duck.
And it's on his
On the,
slide on the handouts.
and I've had that nickname since I was a kid, so I thought it was appropriate, and that's about everybody knows me that way at home, so I thought it'd be easy to search. But I'll go back to the Way Around. That was one thing that I started out with because I just simply could not find an assistive technology to help me. One of my primary obstacles was on the farm was reading the cattle tags. One thing that a lot of people take for granted, it's a tag. Why can't you read it? Well, if you're visually impaired, obviously you've got problems. For many years, I knew that my eyesight, I have retinitis pigmentosa. It was starting to decrease back in the late 1990s when I worked for the fire department at home. I was a county firefighter. I had to give that up because my eyesight did transition to 911 dispatcher for a few years. Again, the eyesight started decreasing enough to where in 2008, I lost my job at dispatch, but in 2008, I was deemed legally blind and started drawing disability in 2009. The whole time I'm wondering, okay, I love the farm. I'm planning on doing this all my life. I know I've said I think I'm a seventh generation. I think I missed one somewhere in there, but after 6 or 7 generations, who cares? You're that old. But and my dad suffered with Parkinson's and dementia. Well, for many years, it was myself, my dad, and my grandfather. We ran this 100-acre farm together. We all helped each other and done our thing. In 1997, I lost my grandfather. He was 82 years old. Naturally, old age was catching up with him. My dad suffered in the later years with when he was 70 years old, Parkinson's and dementia, and here I was legally blind. Well, here we got a conflict. How are we going to continue to make this work and keep maintaining and operating the farm? So with that said, my now sister-in-law in Knoxville, Tennessee was at just a cross-country meet and met Eileen Legault. And just in casual conversation, Eileen mentioned she was part of a group, AGR, which I had never heard of, and worked with trying to keep farmers who are disabled farming. So automatically that threw up a red flag. Jesse mentioned my story, and about a month later I was meeting with Eileen and finding out about VR and AGR. After trying to sell my story and trying to get VR to understand the concept that a farmer who was legally blind wanted to continue doing something he's done all of his life. And once my father passed away, or whenever he did pass away, how was I going to continue? Well, I got in touch with vocational rehab, finally got them to understand what my goal was about just simply wanting to continue the family tradition. My dad had Parkinson's, had dementia. At that time, he was about 71, 72 years of age. Didn't know how much time he had even living, let alone his mental capabilities. So it took a little doings, but once I got approved, I met up with one organization. They kind of got me a little bit of a jump start with assistive technology on my PC. I went to Zoom Text program, which actually was a screen reader and magnifier, which was a big help on my PC. But soon thereafter, unfortunately, that organization that I was working with actually folded up, and there I was with nothing. I had a Zoom text program I really didn't know much about using because the counselor had left in that company. Fast forward about almost a year later, vocational rehab tells me that, all right, we've got a new group called the Star Center. Star Center says, we're going to help you out. So we set up an appointment. They come out. I had to actually reopen my case with VR, start the process over again. And once that counselor came out, then we started the process. And at that time, I was still using a cheap Samsung flip phone. And the only reason I stuck with it is the font was just big enough that I could see something. Never had used a flip phone or a smartphone in my life. Actually, I told my brother, I said, I'm never going to run a smartphone. He said, why? I said, I think a smartphone makes you dumber. And he said, what do you mean? I said, because you get dependent on it. You won't figure out things for yourself. It's just so easy to ask Siri. And anyway, through the Star Center, I was introduced to, was it T-TAP?
Oh, so in every state, look, I'm looking at Kim, there's a program through, ours it's the telecommunication device access program through the utilities. Yeah. So anyway, so all of us on our phone bills, whether it's landline or cell phone, we pay a little universal access fee at the bottom. If you don't know about that in your state, find out about it, because there's an application where a person can, at least in Tennessee, it was a landline program at first, and over the last few years, they can get an iPhone, an iPad with Wi-Fi, or an iPad with data, with capabilities to connect it. So they can get the device for free. Currently in Tennessee, it's running about 2 model years behind. So whatever the newest iPhone is, it's about 2 model years behind, but it's free to the user. They just have to then take the service and pay for it themselves. There you go.
There you go. So that's what was my introduction to my first smartphone, and talking about a learning curve, going from a flip phone to an iPhone, and you just can't get instructions because your gestures, everything about it is totally different from a normal iPhone user. So to be in a nutshell, I had to teach myself how to use everything on it. So luckily I was able to gain that, and then I just started discovering different applications that I could use to help me catalog my livestock, just like the Way Around, the Be My Eyes application, the Seeing AI. Of course, the first thing most of you ladies in here, as far as shopping, what's the first thing you want to go for? Something that's free. And that's where I went. I wanted, free is for me, the way I look at it. So that's where I started looking for your first free apps. And the Way Around app is actually free itself. The tags and things you use integrated with it does cost, but the cost is limited. In fact, you can go to Amazon. I didn't know this till just recently. You can go to Amazon and buy your NFC tags, which that's how it operates off of, actually less than you can through Way Around. And there's just a lot of different applications for it. But the trial and error, just because it's like I've said before, even in one of my videos, I know what an application is designed to do, but I want to know what it can do. I mean, literally, when you seen it a while ago, Be My Eyes recognized a pile of cow dung in the field. I mean, how incredible is that? I mean, how did it know it was that versus a pile of dirt or just anything else? So, in fact, the CEO of Be My Eyes heard about one of the videos that I did, and he wanted to know more, so hopefully I'll get to interact with him. There's a lot of resources out there, not just on my YouTube channel. I'm just very, very new at starting it. Sam Seavey, he's got a YouTube page called The Blind Life. He researches and reviews many, many assistive technologies. That's his specialty. And there again, that's a free resource. You can actually join his groups and such as that to get more information. But I know my time is limited. I'm willing to answer or try to answer any questions. Catch me thereafter on my YouTube videos. You can comment there. I think I have my email actually on one of the videos. So reach out to me. I'll talk to a fence post if it'll talk back. So just reach out to me, and hopefully next year, we'll have maybe a longer session and we can get a lot more detail on it. So, okay.